What is going on, you guys? Alex back here with a brand new video, and today we live in a crazy time in the NBA. Another day and another massive trade involving Zach Lavine and De'Aaron Fox. Crazy. We knew these trades were coming, most likely. Maybe not right now, maybe in the offseason, maybe right now. I mean, there were a good amount of rumors that De'Aaron Fox was on his way out of Sacramento. He didn't request a trade, but there were some rumors about him maybe wanting a different direction once his contract was up and that the Sacramento Kings were open to shopping him. Zach Lavine, I've been talking about this for years. Thank you for trading Zach Lavine. I'm not a Bulls fan. I don't really care that much. But as an outsider looking at the Bulls, they have been stuck in mediocrity for so long. They've been mediocre for so long. And it's not Zach Lavine's fault. It's management's fault. But to not go in the rebuild direction when you have gotten young guys on this roster. You made the trade last year to get Josh Giddey, getting Alex Caruso out of town. I thought that was the spark to ultimately push the rebuild. And we're finally there. The main guy's out of town. The Chicago Bulls can finally go with the youth movement. Next up, Nikola Vucevic, get him out of town. This isn't a true rebuild if you're holding on to him also. He's got to go. So finally, his wasn't as urgent, though. His contract's a lot less. I believe he has one more year after this. Zach Lavine has a few more years on top of that. But either way, Zach Lavine is heading to the Sacramento Kings, and we have De'Aaron Fox heading to the San Antonio Spurs. Crazy. And then the Chicago Bulls get Kevin Huerter, Zach Collins, Tre Jones, and their own 2025 pick via the San Antonio Spurs. So we'll start off here talking about the San Antonio Spurs. That is, in my opinion, the most important part of this because that is the team that wins this trade by an absolute mile. I have a big gripe to pick, or a big bone to pick with the Sacramento Kings. I think many of you know why. When it comes to the Chicago Bulls, I have a slight bone to pick. We'll get there, but we'll start off with the San Antonio Spurs. They get De'Aaron Fox. This has been a rumor for some time now, mostly just like a rumor from random NBA media people that think it would be just a fun place for Wemby and Fox to be on the same team. This was before there was any real traction, but within the last month, there's been real traction that De'Aaron Fox wants to go to San Antonio once his contract was up in Sacramento. He didn't even have to wait. He gets traded there. And the craziest thing, the San Antonio Spurs kept Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson. They kept Stephon Castle, Jeremy Sohan, and every other possible young guy on this team. They traded absolutely no one that is important to the future of this franchise. That's insane. I thought there was 0% chance this trade goes down and not one of Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, or Stephon Castle, or Jeremy Sohan is off this team. You'd think logically that the Sacramento Kings would demand one of those guys. I'm giving up. My franchise player, the guy who has kept us somewhat interesting, got us to our first playoff appearance in forever in De'Aaron Fox. And you're going to trade him away and not demand back something of substance for a young guy. I think that's insane. Now, I know it's Sacramento, and you can't just go straight to the youth movement because you'll never be able to sign a free agent. It's not a desired destination. DeMar DeRozan was their biggest free agent signing in forever. So I understand you can't just trade people away and not try to get a star back. That's why they got Zach Lavine, just to keep some relevancy in Sacramento. I get it. But when you're talking to San Antonio and you're not demanding just one of those guys, the worst one there is probably Stephon Castle because he's a rookie, but he has a super high ceiling. But you're not demanding one of those guys. I honestly just think that's malpractice by Monty McNair and the Sacramento Kings management. Like, it just makes no sense to me. But to keep it with the Spurs, I'll dive more into the Sacramento Kings once I talk about what they got and my more disappointing aspects of this trade. But the Spurs, they get De'Aaron Fox to pair up with Victor Wembanyama. How old is De'Aaron Fox? He can't be more than like 28. De'Aaron Fox is currently 27 years old. He's not even 28. I mean, him and Wemby fit perfectly together. Both athletic, swipe up, can go up and down that court, push the pace on this offense. I mean, it's perfect. And the fact that they kept Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Stephon Castle, and Jeremy Sohan, all their good young guys. It's honestly insane to me. They can still go out and package some of these young guys, next offseason, whatever it may be, with some, bigger contracts, and get another great player on this roster. It's insane. Or they can just keep it, let it grow organically, and see what they have and see who they can trade down the line, see who's here for the now and who's not here for the future. They are in a perfect position. They struggled a little bit. As of late, they haven't been as good as where they kind of started the year because the Western Conference is tough. They're 21-25. They're 3-7 in their last 10. But it's insane. So, and I was talking about the young guys, but they still have Chris Paul. You don't think Chris Paul is going to help De'Aaron Fox grow his game a little bit? I know De'Aaron Fox is 27 at this point. You know, he is what he is. He's still getting into his peak, but I think we kind of know what De'Aaron Fox is, an all-star caliber guard, but not quite that superstar level point guard. He's like a notch below that. He's like very close, but maybe Chris Paul can help De'Aaron Fox become that superstar guard. Maybe. There is no possible L here for the San Antonio Spurs. I've talked about them for a while just because it's insane what they've done. But the Sacramento Kings, they get Zach Lavine, of course, Sidy Cissoko, 3 first-round picks, but don't let them fool you. Do not let them fool you. We'll get there in 1 second. And then 3 second-round picks. The 2025 Charlotte Hornets first-round pick is top 14 protected. That's not conveying in any way, shape, or form unless the Hornets win their next 40 games. The last half of the year. That's not conveying to the Kings. That's going to be a Hornets pick. The 2027 San Antonio Spurs pick, we're in 2025. I know 2027 seems like a while ago, but it's not 2020 anymore. It's not 2022 anymore. I know it's crazy to say, but we're in the year 2025. That's 2 years from now. The way things are going and the way Monte McNair just bought this trade, not demanding any young guys in return, the Spurs are going to be nasty in 2 years. They're going to be one of the best teams in the entire league in 2 years. You think that Spurs pick is going to mean anything to the Sacramento Kings? Absolutely not. The only one here that might have some substance of value, because who knows where the Minnesota Timberwolves will be in 6 years, in 2031. Will Anthony Edwards still be on the roster? What's going to happen there? This is the only one that could convey into something interesting. 2031 Minnesota first-round pick. But still, who knows? Anthony Edwards is still going to be like, what, 28, 29? You know, he's going to kind of be like around De'Aaron Fox's age. He'll be a little older. He's going to be really good. And if he's still there, I doubt it's going to be a terrible team. So all of these first-round picks could mean absolutely nothing. The fact that Monte McNair didn't demand any young guys, and then I'm going to dive deeper now, he didn't demand the Atlanta first-round pick that the San Antonio Spurs own this year is just, it's malpractice. It's really malpractice. And maybe they did demand it, but they wanted to just dump off De'Aaron Fox, which I just don't think that's logical. There is no reason to dump off De'Aaron Fox that badly if you're not getting anything in return that helps the future, especially this pick. The Atlanta Hawks don't own their pick this year. It goes to the San Antonio Spurs. And right now, the Atlanta Hawks have lost 8 in a row. They're 22-27. Jalen Johnson went down for the rest of the year. They're on the way down. They started off the year surprising everyone, being really fun, being really competitive. They're crashing hard because they're losing their guys. And they're just really not as good as they were to start the year off with. I mean, it's really that simple. And they're coming back down to earth. And the fact that they didn't get that pick for De'Aaron Fox, it's mind-blowing to me. I don't get it at all. The Sacramento Kings, yes, they get Zach Lavine, which it is funny. When I saw this trade for the first time, it took me a few retries of seeing Zach Lavine in a Sacramento Kings jersey to be like, holy crap, Zach Lavine and DeMar DeRozan are back on the same team. That's not where my mind went at first. I was just like shocked by the trade to finally see Zach Lavine get moved. And then I was looking at it again, and I was like, yep, that is right. DeMar DeRozan and Zach Lavine are on the same team once again. Which this isn't a great roster. I think they just turn into the Chicago Bulls. I mean, Zach Lavine, DeMar DeRozan. Sabonis is good. He's better than Vucevic, but you could throw a comparison there. Malik Monk is good. I mean, what would he could be compared to on the Bulls? Maybe Kobe White. I don't know. Malik Monk, I think, is better. But overall, this is just the Chicago Bulls of the Western Conference. Like, this isn't really a needle mover. Obviously, when you're going from Zach Lavine to De'Aaron Fox, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a big downgrade because Zach Lavine is having a great year. A very underrated year just because it's in Chicago. No one really wants to talk about that because they're just not as good. And they've been the same team for a few years now, for a while now. going back probably 5 years, they've been relatively the same team, and they just have not done anything to really improve that roster. But either way, Zach Lavine is having a good year. I'm not going to discount that. But, I mean, the Sacramento Kings are the Sacramento Kings. I think coming into next offseason, they're going to really look to maybe try to figure out to really upgrade this team. You would think, because as of right now, it's a very lateral move plus a little bit of a regression. And then you don't really get the best trade package, in my opinion. I'm not a huge fan at all of what the Sacramento Kings got. Lastly, let's talk about the Bulls. Some may look at this and be like Zach Collins, Tre Jones, Kevin Huerter, and then they get their own first-round pick back for this year. They're probably like, that's terrible for someone like Zach Lavine, who's an all-star level player. I would agree if we haven't been waiting for this for years now, and the Chicago Bulls didn't wait to the last minute. People know that the Chicago Bulls wanted to get rid of Zach Lavine finally, or at least were actually finally open to discussing it. And the fact that it took them this long to get there, his value just dropped a ton. So that's why you're seeing the package they got. If they did this a year ago, 2 years ago, they probably could have got a bit of a better return, but it's the fact that they have waited so long that teams can just finesse them. That's exactly what happened between the Kings and the Spurs. Their combined package to go to Chicago finessed them. I mean, it's that simple because the market was just so low for Zach Lavine. That's really all I got to say on that. I'm not surprised by it. It sucks for Chicago, but I mean, it's whatever. They really just trying to move on, buy into their young guys. They get their pick back, which is awesome because where are they currently sitting right now? They're around that 10 seed last time I checked. Yeah, they're 21 and 29. They're that 10 seed. If the Sixers can figure things out, I'm sure they'll jump them, but we'll see. Either way, they're going to be like a late to mid lottery team, depending on where they finish the season. Maybe this makes them better. Who knows? I doubt it. But anyways, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I thought I rambled for a very long time about the Spurs, but it's just insane how good of an upgrade they got with De'Aaron Fox, and they had to let nothing go. They basically made this trade for free. I mean, essentially. They don't really get rid of anyone who means anything to that team. Of course, some of those guys there are important, nice little pieces, but not having to get rid of any of your young and up-and-coming stars is just mind-boggling to me. It's just mind-boggling. But anyways, hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video. And let me know down in the comments below what you think about this trade. It's a big one. Zach Lavine to the Sacramento Kings and De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you guys very soon. And like always, peace out.